Today, we're going to talk about philosophy and utilitarianism, some of my favorite topics. We're also going to talk about trolleys and alcohol and lying, also things that I love. So there's a lot of feedback here. All right, so if any of you have ever gone for drinks with me after work, you realize that after about 2 beers, I look like this guy right now. And it's usually about that time that I start to ask questions like, hey, listen, this is important. What if you're like on a highway in the middle of the night? Listen to me. What if you're on a highway in the middle of the night and there's nobody around and you just decide to start speeding and you're not going to hurt anybody because there's nobody around? Is that okay? Is that the right thing to do? And you'd be like, shut up, Thomas, you're drunk. But really, even when I'm sober, I'm curious about these questions because I want to know, how do you determine the right thing to do? Like, what's good, what's bad, why? Why is that? I think this is an important question because we're starting to live in a world where there's a lot more different types of people all coming in contact with one another than never did before. And I don't know if you kind of noticed, but it's not going so well. A lot of people aren't really getting along. And I think that's because we have very different views on what's right, what's wrong, how we determine that. And we got to figure out some way to do it. Because maybe like 500 years ago, you could be like, well, just do what God tells you to. But unfortunately, not everyone believes in the same guy you do. Or you could be like, well, this is the way we've always done it. But I mean, for me, just some dumb American coming here to the Czech Republic, when I learned that you guys leave carps in the bathtub before Christmas, I was horrified. But that's just how you do it. And hey, different cultures come into contact, and you can't really say, well, it's just tradition, because traditions are different. Or you could be like, well, I just go based off of what feels right to me. And like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right that like my grandmother decided to get euthanasia because she had cancer or whatever. Maybe you feel that way, but in the end, unless you can logically prove to me, I don't got to listen to you at all. So ultimately, I think that's all we got. We have logic and we have reason, but the problem is that everyone's view is logical to them. And so I think this is a really important thing. We need ultimately to find a way to be logical and have a systematic way of figuring out what's right and wrong together. Because you can tell me what your feelings tell you, but you know what? I don't have to believe any of that shit. So ultimately, I'm going to talk today about 2 different forms of, let's say, ethical systems that some people use to determine ultimately what's a good thing to do, what's a bad thing to do. And there are way more than this, but this is all we have time for. We're going to talk about utilitarianism, and we're going to talk about something that's kind of on the other side called Kantian ethics or Kantianism. So let's get started. All right. First, about utilitarianism. The main idea behind this is that everybody ultimately just wants to feel good somehow. People want to feel fulfilled. They want to be happy. Everything you do is ultimately so you can feel happy. Like, did you take your kid to school today? Yeah, it's probably because you love them. And, well, why do you love them? Because it feels good to love them. And ultimately, if we can just make people feel good and have like deep, fulfilling, happy lives, that's a really good thing. And this whole comes from this term, utilitarianism. Utility is a term that just means like a measure of something that's useful or beneficial. So we're trying to maximize the beneficialness of things. And so ultimately we say it's good to maximize, let's say, flourishing overall. So that can be like long-term, deep-seated happiness. It can be pleasure, it can be fulfillment, it can be whatever. And also it's good for us to minimize people's suffering because that's also not a really good thing. And really, we should probably try to be just as equal as we can. Like nobody matters more than the other because otherwise that's just a big ball of wax. If you try to figure out who deserves more happiness and blah, blah, blah. Let's just say it's equal playing field. So ultimately, if we got these 5 people happy over here, that's all cool. That's way better than just Frank over there being happy with his beard and his glasses. So that's a good thing to do. And ultimately, this is the only thing that matters, is maximizing the happiness, the flourishing overall of people, let's say. And that's it. Nothing else matters. So in which case, if you could somehow, in some situation, lie to like help someone or save someone's life, that's a good thing because you're saving a life and lying doesn't matter. The only thing that matters saving people's lives and making them happy. Or if this grandmother here, if she decides that she wants euthanasia because like she has stage 4 terminal terrible cancer and she only has like a year to live and it's not going to be fun, she can decide that she's going to end her life early because she's just going to minimize the suffering. There's nothing about the sanctity of human life or you just shouldn't do it because not only thing that matters is whether or not you're reducing suffering or increasing happiness. Or if you look at this dude, Robin Hood, who, you know, would steal from the rich and give to the poor, the utilitarians might say that it's okay because like these rich people, they're losing some money and that's not great, but their discomfort is vastly outweighed by like the benefit that's given to these poor people. And so maybe you agree with that, maybe not. But what do you do then? Because ultimately we live in a world with finite resources, and how do you determine whether who gets what whenever things get bad, like if we have to choose somebody over the other? And so that's where this question of the trolley problem comes into play. So if you've all heard about this, I'm sorry, but you're here for the next 15 minutes, so you better deal with it. So the trolley problem is that there's this big old trolley, bing, 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 coming down the track, and there are these 5 people who are passed out for some reason on the track, and it's going to hit them, and they're going to die. But you're over here and you realize, oh man, I could go and flip the switch here and it's going to go and change the track and it's just going to kill one person instead. What should we do? Well, some people would say, you should probably flip the switch and just kill this one person. Yeah, you're trading 1 life for 5, but you know, like in the end, it's like, it works out in the end, right? Okay, cool. I think that's what I would say. I don't know what you would say. But this guy over here, he's someone's kid. He's someone's husband. That person matters to someone, and they're not going to be happy if that person dies. And so we got to be fair. So let's say I'm the guy that's over there flipping the switch, and this is my best friend, Tim, and his cute daughter. So what if it's Tim on the track? Not his cute daughter, just Tim. And it's up to me, though. I have to go and split the switch and save 5 people's life, but I have to kill my best friend. I don't feel so good about that. I don't know if I can do that. So, I don't know. It's just so uncomfortable. It's the right thing to do, sure, but ultimately, it's kind of hard to do something like this in this kind of system. Okay, fine. Let's make this a little bit easier. Let's say that I can give you the ability to just eliminate cancer forever. Nobody will ever suffer or die from cancer again. Grandparents will be able to live long with their grandchildren. Parents won't have to bury their children and see them die because cancer will no longer be a thing of the past. It will only be a thing of the past. All these people will flourish. They will be happy in ways that they would not have known otherwise. But in order to do this, you have to choose this one cute little girl, and she's going to have to die. But let's make it easy. Let's just say you press a button, and this girl, she goes to bed tonight like normal, and that's it. She just doesn't wake up in the morning, painless, whatever. Is this okay? Is it okay to sacrifice this one cute girl to save millions of lives, to undo the suffering of tons of other little girls just like her, way more? Is that okay? Well, you tell me. So let's go over to the polls. Is it okay to sacrifice this child's life? Let's do it painlessly. And it will cure cancer forever. And you just press a button. That's it. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time to decide. The girl will actually die if you... I'm not going to like pull the carpet out from under you and be like, haha, just kidding. You're a bad person. No. There should be a tab in the UI that has polls. There should only be one, I believe. I hope so. Do you people online see the poll? Yeah. Ooh, pretty even split. Yes and no. Ooh, what do we do? What do we do? All right, we'll give you a little bit more time. There are 2 Slidos, and that's just annoying. Danny corrected it. So, oh man, I thought that no was going to win. No, yes is going to win. What do we do? Moral maze. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right, so I'm just gonna stop the thing, even though I can't really control that. Right now, yes is winning. For some reason, I know, and Peter's over there shaking his head because people don't agree with him. So yeah, by a very small margin, it seems like you all think it's okay to sacrifice this cute girl's life to save millions of other cute girls like her. And you know what? I think I probably agree, but then I would do it, and then I would probably just go broke from all the money I'd have to spend on therapy afterwards to be able to be okay with this decision. But maybe this isn't really your speed. Maybe you don't feel very good about, killing kids to save other kids. I mean, I don't blame you. So if that's the case, maybe this guy, Emmanuel, totally doesn't look like a disfigured goblin. Kant is for you. And this guy, he came up with this idea called Kantian ethics, named after him. And I'm just going to overly simplify the shit out of this. Pretty much, he says there are some actions that are good. There are some actions that are bad, no matter what. So he came up with this whole system and theory, and he ultimately decided that okay, lying is wrong. You may or may not agree with this. Lying is wrong. Stealing is wrong. Killing is wrong. And there are other things as well, blah, blah, blah. But these are all wrong. No. What? All right? Let's say you're over here having a fun pizza dinner with you and your friend Derek, and then you hear a knock knock at the door. Well, all right, you go and see, oh, that's weird. Wasn't expecting anybody at this pizza dinner. What do? You go over, knock, open the door, and there's this crazy guy with a gun, and he says, tell me where Derek is right now. I'm going to kill him. And you're like, who are you? And he's like, that's not important. I want to kill Derek. Is he here? And you say, well, no, he stayed at home tonight because you care about Derek. I care about Derek. I want to save Derek's life. But no, you're a bad person because lying is bad no matter what. And if you had told the truth and Derek dies, you know what? That's this guy's fault. That's not your fault. That's this guy with the gun. Not yours, because you did the right thing. You did the thing that's good, and the outcome is not what's important. In the end, it all kind of averages out. So back to this whole trolley problem thing. If you look at this, well, killing is bad. These 5 people were all going to die anyway because the trolley was going to hit them, and it's not your fault because you did the right thing. So I don't know. This is kind of the question behind all this, though. Whether you agree with lying or not, blah, blah, blah. This idea is that, are there some things that are wrong to do no matter what? Let's say, even if, this thing you did would somehow save 6 billion humans, somehow, are there just some things that exist that are just, no matter what, you cannot do them? They're bad. They're very bad. So, what do you think? Do you think... Let's see. So I just gave some examples here. What do you think? You can select all the ones you want. Do you think, if it were to even save 6 billion people, do you think it's okay to cheat on your partner or to torture someone? Or you should never, ever commit genocide or spread false rumors about someone or perform sexual assault? Are some of these things, even if they saved humanity? No. No matter what. Never. I'm curious to get your opinions on this. So what I'm getting from this is that you guys are so much more okay with cheating on your partner than you are about committing genocide. All right, I see the kind of people you are. I don't trust you for a second. All right, we'll give it a little bit more time. Trying to adjust my microphone so you don't hear it scratching against my beard all the time. Well, all right. That's good enough. So you guys think that genocide is bad no matter what? I think I kind of agree with that. I mean, what are you gonna wipe out an entire race of humans to save everybody? I don't know about that. Or torture? Yeah, okay. Sexual assault. Most of you guys are yeah, cheating on your partner. Who cares? Spreading false rumors about someone got 19%. So I can't really see that. That's unfortunate. But what if I zoom out on Slido? Would that help? No, there is no. Okay, no. All right. Well, that's interesting. Thank you all for your input. I will be sure to file this all on your permanent record so I can blackmail you about it later. That's a question. Is it morally ethical to blackmail people? No, okay. Anyway, all right. So I know what you're all thinking. You're probably like this guy right now, and you're thinking, come on, Thomas, this is all just a bunch of stupid navel-gazing, philosophical bullshit. It has nothing to do with real life. It's so abstract, doesn't matter. No, it has everything to do with real life, because the way we make our governments to the way we make our taxes, is it okay to take from rich people and give it to poor people? Philosophical question. Oh, or is it okay for us to kill people who have killed people themselves? Philosophical question. Or is it okay for me to gossip about Lisa behind her back? I don't know. What if it's for a good cause? Philosophical question. Or what do we do about coronavirus? Oh man, did y'all feel that just now? Did you feel the chill in the air when I mentioned that? Is it okay for us to lock down some people in order to save other people's lives? Well, guess what? That's a philosophical question. And unless you can logically give me a reason more than just your feelings, I don't have to believe shit about what you say. And so ultimately, just like how we have rockets and lasers and pew pew cool technology, all thanks to math at the bottom of it all, we have good societies and everything else because we have philosophy undergirding it. Philosophy is like the mathematics of human interaction. We decide on a daily basis based off of our small inner beliefs about what's fair based on philosophy. And that's how societies are governed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, I think we gotta figure this shit out because things aren't going so well societally, if you ask me. So anyway, sorry about that. As a tech company, this also applies to us. You see, let's say, for instance, there's a company who wants to hire us, and we want to make the right ethical decision. And they're like, oh man, hey, Matt, we have this great idea for this app, and we're this gigantic corporation, and we want to give you so much money. And also on top of that, we're a gigantic name in the industry. You've never heard of Giganto Corp XYZ? Oh, believe me, we're huge. But anyway, we'll put in the best reference for you. You just got to make this app. And Matt is like, all right, that sounds pretty interesting. I mean, we'll see. We'll get back to you. Let me do I'll talk to my people. And then Matt goes home and he does some research and he finds out this company uses slave labor to do their manufacturing. But they want us to make a configurator to help them. They want us to help them make their new Nike shoes and stuff. But what do we do? Like, they use like slaves to, make their products. Is that all right? But, all right. That's not, no, I don't like this. All right, but let's say Matt is like, okay, maybe we can offset this a bit. What if we take all the profits we would make from this and we donate it to a children's hospital to save dying children? Well, yeah, I don't know. Is this acceptable? What do you think? So, do you think, yeah, totally acceptable to work with these people? We don't even have to donate the money. Business is business, baby, just do it. Or do you think, yeah, we can work with them if we donate the money? Do you think, no, we shouldn't because that's not enough money for us to offset the bad stuff? Or do you think, no, never ever with this kind of company. They're bad, we're good, they suck, we're cool. We're gonna do this the right way, no matter what. Or are you torn? Do you not know? You let me know. Oh, there we go. I can scroll down. Who knew I could scroll down this whole time? All right, we'll give it a little bit more time. 5, 4, 3. I don't know why I count down because you guys can still keep voting after I say stop. But anyway, all right. So it seems like some of you are thinking, you know what? Doesn't matter. Even if they were to pay us $1 quadrillion and we were to give it all to charity, no. Slave labor is bad. Never, ever slave labor. All right. That's cool. That's cool. I'm curious to get to know you guys' opinion on it. I'm not going to say whether I think it's right or wrong. That's totally fine. So let me go back to the full screen. Oh my God. So at the end of the day, I mean, my personal opinion is maybe there's some sum of money way out there that could maybe offset this wrong, but the amount that we'd get from them probably isn't enough, so we probably shouldn't do it. Okay, that's fine. Thank you all for your input. And next time a slave labor company comes to Matt, hopefully you guys will know about it. All right, so in the end, I think it's important for us to figure out what's right and what's wrong, and all we got is logic, because new cultures are coming into conflict, and what I think is right, just because that's the way I was raised, doesn't really hold a lot of water with you Czech people, for instance, because you had a different background than I did, not to mention anybody else from another country. So ultimately, we need some standard of norms to figure out what's good and what's bad. And I talked a bit about utilitarianism as maybe one of those metrics of figuring out what's a good thing to do. Like, well, you know, we should just make the most number of people happy if possible. And we shouldn't treat anybody unfairly or any of that stuff. Or maybe you take a hard line, you say, no, there are some good things out there. Some things are good, some are bad, and you better stick to it. It doesn't matter what it is. Gotta take a hard line. I think probably a lot of us are somewhere in between. We probably have some things that we're like, it's okay, and other things like genocide, where it's just, no matter what. And that's, yeah, I think that's probably where most people are. But I wonder, like, is this a good approach? Should we be more consistent in our beliefs? Or should we make a new model altogether that tries to encompass all this? Well, I'm curious to know what approach seems best to you. I would put a poll out, but I don't have enough polls on the free Slido thing, so we're just not going to do that. So granted, there were just these two that I talked about. There's a lot more than this. There's like contractarianism and virtue ethic and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to bore you. I'll do that next time I get drunk with you. And we'll talk about that some other time. But anyway, thanks a lot.